Hello everybody, my name is Nicole Fisico. I am the creator of Face Addiction Skincare, and welcome to our first YouTube training video. This video is going to talk about just the philosophy of face addiction, who we are, what we are about. If you are a stockist just bringing on face addiction into your spa, thank you so much for choosing face addiction, and welcome to the face addiction family. If you are finding this video and you are a consumer interested in learning more about our brand, then welcome to you as well. So always in my training, I just start by reading from our product information manual, and this manual gives you all of the information that you need. If you don't have the actual book, then I can send you the digital file, and it is the exact same thing. But this book I find is really helpful. It comes in this large hardcover size, or it's also in a soft cover, smaller size, and it just sort of reviews all of the good stuff that you should know about the line, and then it actually does go into sort of individual product info as well. So I'm just going to start by reading the introduction to face addiction. So welcome to Face Addiction. We have developed a beautiful aromatic skincare line with you, the spa therapist, in mind. Face addiction has been designed to enhance your client's facial experience while providing the results that you would expect from a professional spa line. Our philosophy is simple. We believe in naturally derived potent actives, perfectly balanced formulations, and results that you and your clients can see. This training will provide you with all of the information you need to treat your client's skin with a face addiction regimen perfected by your expertise. Your professional recommendation determines the face addiction treatment plan, not standard protocols. Our products have been formulated to work in harmony with each other to treat any skin type, stay within the same line, or mix and match. It's up to you and your client's needs. The freedom to custom blend a treatment regimen for you and your clients will ultimately give you both a positive result. So basically what that's saying is that all of our 19 products can be mix and match. So yes, we absolutely do have the specific lines per skin type. And of course, we have products that focus on skin conditions as well. But you don't necessarily need to stay in that same line in order to treat your client's skin. So for instance, we have our Fresh line, which is for normal to combination skin, which is formulated with grapefruit essential oil. We have our Soft line, which has been designed for dry, dehydrated, or sensitive, hypersensitive rosacea, which is formulated with damask rose essential oil. And then we have our Clear line, which is for problematic to oily, which is formulated with lemongrass and bergamot essential oils. So for instance, you may start the facial thinking, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Fresh cleanser, but after you cleanse, maybe you notice the skin is slightly more reactive than what you had initially thought in your diagnosis, then absolutely feel free to move into the Soft line, tonic, and cream, however. So completely depending on the client's skin and what's going on there, you have the freedom to custom blend. So although we absolutely could give you step 1, step 2, step 3 for, say, a dry skin facial or a combination skin facial, our philosophy is that we're providing you with the tools, and as the professional who has the client sitting in front of you and you've done the diagnosis, you get to decide what products and what steps that you're going to take in order to treat that client's skin. And of course, as always, if you have any questions after this training video, then please feel free to give us an email. My email address is info@spaaddictionbiz.com. Okay, so what are some of the most important things that we should know about face addiction? Like, what are the things that sort of set us apart as far as, not only the products, but again, our philosophy? So what are the things I should know? So one of the main things is that we have very potent and, of course, aromatic natural formulations. So we have really taken our time in developing the line to be extremely clean, very potent as well. So as we know, spa lines are generally more potent with their active ingredients than what you would find in a conventional line. But even so, beyond that, our products are quite highly potent and high in active ingredients. And the reason that we are able to do that is that because our active ingredients are so naturally and botanically derived, that even though they're in there at a higher concentration, they're very gentle on the skin while still being active. So the next point is that we have no chemical preservatives. We absolutely do have a preservative in our line. Whenever there is water present in a formula, you need to have something preserving. You need to have a preservative to maintain the integrity of the product and to ensure that there's no bacterial growth. So we'll talk about sort of what that ingredient is in just a few moments, but we do have a preservative. No colorants or added fragrance. So if you see a color in the line, for instance, our Clarity Mask is sort of a grayish green color, and that's from the Canadian Arctic mineral mud that is in that particular product. It's not an added color that's in there. All of our products are very aromatic, as mentioned, but that's through the natural essential oils that are used also as the active ingredients. So no added fragrance. All of our products are paraben and sodium lauryl sulfate free. We do have a foaming product in our clear cleanser. It's a foamy, it's milky and foamy at the same time, but it's an olive oil based foaming agent rather than using something that's going to be quite drying on the skin like sodium lauryl sulfate. So we have no animal testing on our products either. All of our products go through quite a lengthy testing phase. So just to give you an idea of sort of what happens when we are creating a product. So we kind of have an outline as far as what we want the product to do, what's the skin type, so general sort of layout as far as ingredients. And then we consult and work with a chemist to perfect and balance the formula. And then at that point, they go into sort of presenting us with different sort of prototypes of that product to determine whether we enjoy the level of essential oil that's in it, because that needs to be balanced. We need to see the results coming from that particular product, as well as the texture of the product. So there's quite a few different things that need to come into play when we're designing one specific product. From there, once we pick one that we enjoy the most, or we kind of tweak it until we get it to where we want it, it needs to go through a challenge test. And that challenge test basically is simulating 18 months of shelf life. So it sort of forces the product into determining whether it's going to be stable, whether it's going to split, whether there's going to be any kind of bacterial or microbial growth. And once we can see that the challenge test is passed and that that product is stable, then we go into our human testing phase. So we do testing, of course, like I said, not animal testing. But what we do is we choose people who would be exactly perfect for that product. So if it's, say, a product for drier, dehydrated skin, then we would have people who have drier, dehydrated skin. But what we would also do is choose a few people that would be contraindicated to that product. And the reason why we do that is because we want to see where our limit is. So if for some reason, for instance, our Enliven oil has rose geranium in it, well, rose geranium is rich in niacin. And niacin helps to stimulate the circulation and bring oxygen to the surface of the skin, which is wonderful for dry, dehydrated, but not quite as nice for someone who suffers from a lot of redness in the skin or sensitivity, because that extra circulation isn't necessarily going to help to calm redness. So what we want to know is sort of where's the line. So is it okay for someone with mild sensitivity, or, is it going to be okay across the board? So we do that for about 6 weeks. There's before and after pictures and questionnaires and all sorts of stuff that give us feedback as far as the product and the results and the experience of the product. Once we see that it's doing what we want it to do, then it's basically okay to put into production for sale. If it's not doing what we want to do, then we literally have to start at the beginning and go through the whole process again. So it's quite a lengthy process, and we did that for all of the 19 products that we have, including our professional treatment, our Enliven geothermal mask. The entire line is gluten-free, so that's another point. I know a lot of people are searching for products to coincide with their gluten-free lifestyle. Of course, we know celiac is more of an internal disorder, but a lot of people who have the celiac disease, which I do have in my family as well, claim that it even makes their skin sensitive as well. They have a sort of a topical reaction to. So, of course, as I said, this falls in line with people's gluten-free lifestyle. And one of probably my most favorite points of the whole line is that it's made in Canada. And I always tell people that I'm so lucky and so fortunate to have had such a wonderful career in the last 18 years in the Canadian spa industry. And I think it's wonderful that we all support each other to keep our industry healthy and strong. And, I hope that everyone who is entering into this industry has a great career the same as I, and that I can continue in this industry in Canada. So very proud that the product is made and designed here in Canada. But what that also does for us is that it helps us to keep the costs down. So the most, question that I get, the most frequency question is that how do you have such a high quality product but keep the prices where they are? And, the number one answer is that it's made in Canada. So our warehouse is located in Muskoka in Huntsville, Ontario, and our manufacturer is located in Toronto. And so we literally don't have the import costs, the shipping costs that come along with that. And we're very fortunate to have a manufacturer that allows us to do small batches. So that keeps the product fresh, but it also allows me to literally pack up my truck, drive down, pack up my truck, and drive the products back to my warehouse. So we don't have again, the big transport and shipping costs that, eventually just get tacked on to not only the distributor cost, but the wholesaler cost, the stockist cost, and then, of course, the consumer final endpoint. So all of those costs are saved. And the other thing, too, is our packaging. We've kept our packaging, classy but simple as well. And that also helps to pass on some savings. So what else do I want to talk to you about? Okay, so chemical preservatives, that's the main thing, and probably the last thing we'll talk about in this video, and then we'll get on to actually the individual products. So as I mentioned, we do not have any chemical preservatives. We do have a natural preservative though, and so as I mentioned, and as you can imagine the lengthy process to develop this natural botanical line, last thing we wanted to do is just sort of throw in a chemical preservative at the end. As usually it's the last ingredient on the ingredient list. So what we did is we obviously did our research and we found an ingredient called radish root ferment filtrate. And this radish root ferment filtrate is not our ingredient. It's an ingredient that, you can purchase. And what they did was, the company that did develop this ingredient, is what they found was during the fermentation process of this radish root, that there's a peptide that's created. And when that peptide is isolated, it can give full spectrum coverage in the product. So it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, and antifungal. And what's interesting about this particular ingredient is, of course, that it's naturally derived, which is awesome, but it's a peptide. And we know in skincare that peptides are awesome for increasing skin hydration. So, of course, this company that developed the ingredient did their clinical studies, and what they found was against a placebo cream, a cream that had only the radish root ferment filtrate in it, increased the skin hydration by up to 10%. So, that's going to be wonderful for any skin type, whether you're dry, oily, problematic, normal combination, it doesn't matter. And anyone can use more hydration in the skin. So we actually use this ingredient in all of our products, except for our Enliven oil, which has no water present, so it's generally self-preserving. The radish root ferment filtrate acts not only as our preservative, but actually acts as an active ingredient to help to increase skin hydration. So what you'll notice in the products is, as I mentioned, usually it's sort of the last, ingredient on the list. In our products, you'll notice it's trade name is Leuconostock, and it's radish root ferment filtrate, kind of somewhere in the middle there. So that is our preservative. So thank you so much for sitting and listening to the Introduction to Face Addiction Skincare. My name again is Nicole, and if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can do so through the contact form on our website, which is faceaddiction.ca, or again, my direct email address is info@faceaddiction.ca. Actually, that's not right at all. It's info@spaaddictionbiz.com. Thanks so much, and stay tuned for our other training videos, which will be coming to YouTube soon. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.